Hello traders and welcome in a new daily market analysis video. Today is the 18th of May and this video is brought to you by the market research team at PU Prime. Let's have a quick look on the economic agenda. Right now we do have a couple of important economic releases that we'll be looking for that basically starts in 5 minutes from now, and then we'll be having a look on the technical analysis and the charts real quick, so please stay tuned. Starting with the economic agenda, we can see here that at 6 a.m. GMT time, we had the numbers from the British economy regarding the CPI. Basically, the numbers are still showing an increase in inflation overall in the British economy. However, it is slightly lower than the expectations. If we're talking about the CPI for the month of April, month over month, so the numbers came at 2.5%, which is way higher than the previous 1.1%. However, it slightly missed the target, which was around, or the expectations, which were around 2.6%. The same goes for the year-over-year CPI, which basically is still higher than the previous 7%, but slightly lower than the forecasts, around 9.1% going forward. And in 5 minutes from now, we have the European CPI, European inflation numbers, as well as the core CPI, and we'll be having a look. This is really key to watch during the day, in addition to the core CPI and the CPI numbers from the Canadian economy. So today we had three numbers, or we're having three numbers regarding the inflation from the British already released, the European inflation numbers to be released in 5 minutes, and the Canadian inflation numbers to be released at 12:30 p.m. GMT time. In addition to that, we have the building permits from the US economy, as well as the weekly crude oil inventories, not expected to add higher volatility than usual on the markets. The key numbers to watch are basically the inflation numbers for today. Let's have a quick look on the technical analysis and the charts. In yesterday's video, we mentioned that on the dollar index, we do expect a reversal from the levels of 103.40, and we are having what seems to be a very bullish price action here. We had this bullish divergence on the momentum indicator, basically, which started a new upward trend on the 5 minutes time frame. So during the day, basically, we still expect a continuation of the upward trend. On the short, on the medium and the long term, we are basically bullish on the dollar index, and now on the very short term we are having what seems to be a long position. So if you're already having your dollar index in your portfolio, you might be thinking right now to add to your long positions or have more exposure of the dollar index. We are going to target the levels of 104.18 during the day. On the other hand, the euro pound, basically, that we mentioned in yesterday's video, that we might have a retracement or a pullback to the upside, basically had this upward move, brilliant upward move of around 90 points. However, this is still a retracement, and any upward move on the euro pound should be a good opportunity to short back to the levels of 0.8367 on the medium term. Going forward and having a look on the gold trading, we mentioned also that we might have a pullback to the downside to around the levels of 1810. Basically, we had this false breakout to the downside. We reached basically the levels of 1807. However, at the moment and on the 5 minutes time frame, we can see that it might be a good opportunity to add and to go long on the gold trading. However, the more conservative scenario, or the less risky scenario, is to wait for a breakout above the levels of 1817 to continue the upward move and target the levels of 1850. The last thing that we need to have a look on is basically the US crude oil. We mentioned that the levels of 115.50 is something that we should look for and wait for bearish price action, and we had this brilliant engulfing candlestick. Basically, we reached the levels of 118. We are still having our same technical bias. We are bearish on the US crude oil on the short term to target the levels of 108.10 roughly. That was all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and please stay tuned for another videos. Please stay safe.